Okay, let's go ahead and go over each of these equations in the warm-up. And this will get posted onto Google Classroom as well today, so that way if you need to rewatch it, you can. Remember last week I said in order to break it down real simplistic, the first thing you should do is identify the what? The constant. So you're going to identify the constant and you're going to identify the operation that was in front. So identify constant and operation in front of the constant. Okay, so we're going to identify the constant and the operation that's in front of it. What number up here is the constant? Is it the 6, the 2, or the negative 10? 6. The 6. The 6 is going to be our constant. Now the 6 doesn't have an operation written in front, so what do we automatically put? Plus. You automatically put a plus sign in front of it when there isn't anything written. So now we can go ahead and do the inverse operation of that. What is the inverse of plus 6? Negative 6 or minus 6. So even though this was a subtraction sign here, we're still going to be subtracting 6 because we need to get rid of the 6. So we can cross it off. 6 minus 6, we'll get rid of it. Then we're going to do it to the other side. We're going to subtract 6. Now again, I hope you guys are not getting these questions wrong because you're being lazy and not checking with your calculator. But everybody should have their calculator in front of them. Negative 10 minus 6 gives you what? Negative 16. There's no reason that you should miss a problem just because you decided that you didn't want to use your calculator and you were stubborn. Use the calculator so that you can make sure you get the problems right based off of that. Now, on this side, what do we bring down? Negative 2x. Let me tell you the biggest mistake I've seen so far today on second academics, the ones that I'm grading, they have not brought down that minus sign. That minus sign does get brought down, so now instead of it being subtract 2x, it now says negative 2x. That minus sign comes down and becomes a negative sign. It is a negative 2x. Okay, second thing we need to identify, is this a coefficient or a constant? Coefficient. Good. This is a coefficient. This is a coefficient. So that means that we need to do what? Divide. When you see that you have a coefficient, you're going to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. We're going to divide by negative 2. So please make note, because I think some of you aren't seeing that. That is a division line. Negative 2 divided by negative 2. We can cancel out the 2's and the negatives. But then I have to do the same thing here. I have to divide by negative 2. I have to divide by negative 2. So now we're going to get x is equal to what? 8. Positive 8. Don't get it wrong because you were stubborn and didn't check it with your calculator. Negative 16 divided by negative 2 is a positive 8. Okay? Let's go on now to problem number 2. Same steps, same process. The first thing that we need to do is we're going to ID the constant and the operation in front of it. What number up here is my constant? 1/5, 7, or 9? 7. 7 is my constant. 7 is my constant. So I'm going to put a box around that plus 7. And we're going to instead do minus 7. Instead of adding 7, we're going to subtract 7. And we're going to do it from both sides. We're going to cross this off. What is 9 minus 7? What's 9 minus 7, guys? 2. Wake up. Come on. That 1/5 x is going to come down. Okay, now the 1/5, is that a coefficient or a divisor? Nope. Coefficient. When it's side by side. Remember, if it's side by side, it's a coefficient. If it's underneath the x, it's a divisor. If it's side by side, it's a coefficient. If it's underneath the x, it's a divisor. This is a coefficient. This is a coefficient, so that means that we're going to divide by 1/5. You're literally going to type in divide and then 1/5 when you're working it out. So we're going to divide this side by 1/5. Those are going to get crossed off. And then we're going to divide the 2 by 1/5. So you're literally going to type in 2 divided by 1/5. And when you do that, what do you get for x? 10. 2 divided by 1/5 will give you 10. 2 divided by 1/5 gives you the 10. All right, let's take a look at the last one. So if 15 is equal to x over -4 plus 13, what is my constant? What number up here is my constant, guys? 13. And it's a plus 13. It has a plus sign written in front of it. The operation in front is the plus sign. So what's the inverse? Subtraction. Minus 13. So we're going to subtract 13 from both sides. Okay, 15 minus the 13 is going to give us a 2. Then we have x over -4. Is that a coefficient or a divisor? Divisor. That one is a divisor. Okay, so because of the fact that we do have a divisor, that means that instead we're going to go ahead and multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by -4. We're going to multiply both sides by -4. So I'm going to multiply here by -4. Those will cancel out. And I multiply the other side by -4. And I'm going to get -8 is equal to x, or x is equal to -8. Okay? Go ahead and get onto Google Classroom. You're going to finish your assignment. When you're done, you can then get onto quizzes. You should not be on anything other than those 2 things that I told you. So if you're on something else, make sure you get off of it right now.